Hey there, if you're interested in getting started in drawing, I always say the number one thing to do is draw things that you like, you think are interesting, and that you want to see. But here I'll give 4 of the over a dozen elements of art that you can also really focus in on to very quickly improve the way your drawings look and feel. The first one, of course, is line. You want to get nice, long, beautiful lines. And to practice that, you want to try and do unbroken lines that are not hashy or hairy. And you want to try breathing out as you're lining. The next is value, or what people commonly call shading. And there's definitely no one way to do value. Here I'm just hashing, but you want to just experiment and focus in on value from time to time and just figure out your own best techniques for how to shade, how to express texture, and lighting using different value techniques. And the third here is form. Difference between form and shape is that shape is 2D and form is 3D. So again, this could mean perspective practice. It doesn't have to. Just exploring different shapes in 3 dimensions is very important. You can start simple with cubes and other simple objects, found objects, and then move on to more complex objects, groups of objects, or organic shapes, etc. And the last big one here is proportion. Now, again, it's not something you have to focus in on super closely with every drawing, but at least from time to time, you want to stop and really play around and figure out the proportions of how things work, not just with people, but anything that you're drawing. Now, what you don't want to do, a mistake that many people make, is to try and memorize proportions for things. The way to do proportions is to learn how to see objects and figure out the proportions each time as you go, because as objects move and turn or take different forms, the proportions will always change. So it's much more important to practice looking at an object closely and observing for the proportions. And I'll throw in a bonus one here, which is to try new tools and new ways of drawing. Here I'm using a nibbed pen, which I haven't used in, I want to say 2 decades almost. So that definitely adds to the fun of getting better.